On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. What a crazy-ass couple days it's been. Today, literally, is trying to start this show, and I went to just chop off. I've done this one other time, and it sucks so bad when I do it. And I right-click, and you can close all the tabs to the right, or if you just click the one above it, it closes all other tabs. And that's what I accidentally clicked. Shut down everything except one tab. And it's not one of those things where you can just easily go to history and be like, oh, yeah, just pop up all those things you just closed. No, you got to open them up one at a time. Frickety frick. Doesn't matter. We've got a major thing going on. This chick's lies even to her husband. It's amazing how this continues to play out. Just unreal. Weird stuff we're finding out about the Nord Stream pipeline. I don't think it's maybe true. I think it's some bullshit, but we'll see. And just a whole slew of stuff around Trump and the debates, and I don't know, it's got all sorts of crap going on right now. A small war potentially brewing, I think, as well, between Biden and Kamala. I'm very curious to see if that holds together. Also, want to remind everybody, the music show this week, I'm doing Kenny Loggins. Kenny Loggins is a heck of a lot of fun. I don't know how many of you are aware of his music, but he's got some very, very fun music, very good stuff. Going to be doing stuff, of course, from Top Gun and also from Footloose, and a whole slew of other great songs that he's done. And my all-time favorite, Return to Pooh's Corner. I love that song. That song will be played as well. So we are going to have a good old time. Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And yeah, hopefully you guys can join us live. There's always a fun conversation going on inside the chat. It's kind of crazy, actually, in fact. It's pretty cool. Okay, so this is, I think, one, I don't normally like to share crap like this because it just annoys the hell out of me, but I actually felt like this was sort of an interesting concept, or it's interesting to point out how literally detached people are. Now, I get that you've got to feed people lies, and if you keep feeding people a lie, they're going to eventually believe it. I get that. That is kind of how it works. But the problem is, the second people realize you lie to them, the second they catch on to it, they will never trust you again. It's one thing to be right once in a while or wrong once in a while, right? And just kind of, oh, oops, right? But to just blatantly outright lie to your face, yeah, no credibility. Needless to say, the largest audience ever in a live event, a live venue, I take that back. In a live, like interview, live TV, live internet, I believe there was a concert in Brazil that was with the Queen. In fact, I think that was over 250,000 people. That was pretty impressive. And I swear they broke 1 million at some live event at some point too. So not the biggest live event ever, but darn close. Oh, actually, I take it back. That was 1 million people. No, we had 1 billion. So yeah, 250 million people live, they were saying, with everything. 71 million, and then all the external stuff outside of that. So yeah, huge. Sorry, my brain's still just reeling from what's happened. But oh yeah, I got to play this nonsense. Seriously, it's one of those days, folks. I'm just telling you. Bear with me.
What is wrong with this man? He literally blew his whole campaign in one Twitter Spaces. His campaign staff must be pulling all their hair out. They're going to be bald-headed like me. But not as cute.
Don't you love how they just laugh? Like this like stupid fake laugh. Kamala does it. She does it. What the hell is that all about, man? That is ridiculous. Now here is something that's kind of emotional. This lady is really, really bummed at the fact that all these illegal people are getting all sorts of free stuff, and those of us that are actual citizens of this country don't. And she talks about her struggle. And I think there's a lot of people that are feeling this way. And I think it's important to share that a lot of people are waking up.
I need this message to go out to our vice president who's running for president. I have heard all over social media about, excuse me if I say anything wrong, immigrants getting loans, money. It was hard for me to believe. It was just extremely hard for me to believe. I've been in business such a long time. Back in 2019, I purchased my first food truck. It cost me over $25,000. I paid it cash money. I worked hard to pay for this truck. I'm now selling it because I'm doing other things, but I'm selling it. I had a guy come to look at purchasing my vehicle or my food truck, and he explained to me he's an illegal immigrant. He has no credit. He has no money in the bank. But he showed me his paperwork that he will receive funds to purchase my food truck. I'm thankful that he's buying it, but I'm hurt that I work so hard to pay cash for my food truck. I have good credit, can't even get a business loan because of the color of my skin. I have veterans in my family. I'm a veteran. I've been self-employed for so long. But somebody, please tell me, how do I work so hard to have somebody who comes to this country, not long, no credit, and he shows me paperwork where they'll be funding him money to buy my food truck. And when I talked to the bank, they told me usually they have to go straight to a dealership because I'm a private sale. But for special circumstances, they're going to, they allow it. But I need my president to tell me why I worked so hard all these years, all these decades. Couldn't get a business loan, but I bust my ass to get the money to create my business. And we got immigrants coming here. And they're getting money. Money! We're doing nothing but just being here. It's not right, and I want answers.
She's right. It isn't right. It's not correct. It shouldn't happen. It's going to break this country. It's going to culturally break us. Everyone then tries to turn it around. Again, they always try to make you feel guilty. Well, but this is a land of immigrants, Dan. Yes, legal immigrants, legal immigration. Yes, all for it, 100%. Not illegal. Not just open up the borders and let them just run on in. No. Fuck no. How about that? I don't care what name you call me. That's a stupid idea. It doesn't work. We don't have housing, jobs, anything. We don't even have enough electricity for crying out loud. Now, this is strictly about trying to, one, ruin this country, and two, get votes. Now, here is some wonderful lefty wacko that decided they wanted to camp out in the lobby of Citibank. Well, Citibank security came down, and, well, he's not having any of that. Apparently, dude managed to hit himself, or I think he pushed the camera into the dude's face. Whatever the case was, it seemed to have hurt. He's like, anybody else? Anybody else need me to beat their ass? I'm here. I'm here all week. Tip the waiters. Try the veal. Yeah, not working too well. Surprisingly, it is to me anyways, Oregon jury convicted violent Portland Antifa ringleader Alyssa Azar of felony over the 2021 attack that occurred. There was a violent Portland Antifa ringleader. She'd been convicted. Jury in 5-day trial, marred by tight security restrictions and intimidation from Antifa members in the gallery. Alyssa Eleanor Azar, 32 years old, was charged with felony riot, disorderly conduct in the second degree, and unlawful use of mace in the second degree. The jury found Azar guilty of felony riot and second-degree disorderly conduct. I don't know if they just pop her right back out on the street or how that's going to work, whether or not she's actually going to see any jail time. But they did bust her. Now, something that's kind of interesting that got pointed out, and of course Elon Musk had to respond to it, but the first original comment, picture of Bill Gates, he says, "Did you know that Bill Gates is behind 88% of all philanthropic donations to the WHO, the World Health Organization? He has also donated over $319 million to the mainstream media." So, of course, Musk says, wow. So he basically controls the WHO and the media. Now, again, you understand how dollars move, how dollars control, how advertising is how they were controlling. Remember that GARM, and they finally shut that down, though there's other organizations doing similar things. We'll get them. But this might was a good reminder. It was a good flashback from the past when I think he was speaking specifically to Bob Iger at Disneyland. But Elon Musk had some choice words for advertisers that are going to try to force him into a specific behavior with money. Musk loves that. He's like, dude, I'm a billionaire.
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself. But go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
I friggin' love that. I love it. One of the strongest phrases ever. Anyways, that and calling someone a fuckface I think is pretty funny also. It just always makes me laugh. Kind of makes me giggle inside because it's pretty insulting. But then when you actually think about what you're calling somebody, the faces we make during those moments, come on, guys. Just imagine a few of those crazy-ass faces you make. No, it's not what you want to see on the Christmas card. That's for sure. Secrecy of the president's family doc raises the question. Are we getting the full story on the Biden's cognitive health? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys get the whole thing, right? Obviously, the doctor's not telling us the truth. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of curious. You guys throw in the comments below if you want. But I'm very curious where you stand on this. Do you think that doctor owes us full-blown knowledge of what his health is? Because normally health stuff's secret, right? Like we have HIPAA laws and all that stuff. So you don't obviously want your own health coming out, but somehow it's different, I guess, if you're in public office, maybe. I don't like that still. I still feel like you should have rights. All said, that's kind of one of the reasons I have with it is I don't expect the doctor to be honest with us. What does bother me, though, is all the Congress members. And all the different people of staff and things along those lines, they're the ones that bother me. I don't really mind that the doctor's keeping patient confidentiality. I probably prefer that, frankly. But everybody that has been with this dude knows. All of us saw it on TV. So for these people to spend any longer with him at any time, and then suddenly he's miraculously good and he just seems to be camera shy when he never was before in his life. Guy's been in politics for 800 years, so it's not like he gets nervous in front of the camera. He can't say anything like that. He's obviously got problems. And they hid it. They hid it and they lied. That's what I have a problem with. Our politicians, even Republicans that have spent time with this guy, knew full well he was a nut job. That's how the deep state works. It's also kind of how you know who the good people are and who the bad people are. I get, too, that it opens you up a little bit to where it just creates a whole problem. Now we got a country in disarray like we do. So it's a very complex issue. Like I said, I don't know. I'd like to see some comments thrown on that one. Biden and Harris are going to hold their first joint event. First time I read that, they're going to hold their first joint. No way. That's crazy. Finally, Kamala, good job. You got him to smoke. Biden and Harris, they're going to hold their first joint event since he dropped out, touting lower drug costs. So apparently they're going to do some sort of event together. This has been one of the key things that she hasn't still gotten in front of the press. I think she's supposed to do something either today or tomorrow, and it's going to be very scripted, so it's not going to count to us per se, but to them it's going to. But yeah, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to hold their first events. They're delivering remarks 1:30 Eastern time at Prince George's County Community College in Maryland, so there's not going to be open questions and shit. They're going to talk about the economy and what the administration's done to alleviate costs for Americans, which kind of is funny because they've actually made everything worse. Everything's gotten significantly worse. Prices are up 20% since Biden's taken office. 20%. That's insane. That means divide every price before they came into office. You divide it by 5, right? Divide it by 5, and that'll get you what the 20% mark is, right? Divide it by 5, get a fifth of it, and all of a sudden, you just tack that on, that whatever that number is. That's what we've done, 20%. It's insane. It's gone up 1/5. 1/5 in price. Kamala Harris wants nothing to do with crooked Joe Biden. They are throwing him out on Monday night's stage, known as Death Valley. He now hates Obama and Crazy Nancy more than he hates me. He's an angry man, as he should be. They stole the presidency from him. It was a coup. I like how he stole the president from Trump, and then they stole it from him, which kind of is the switcheroo, I guess, that we were all talking about. Kinda. If you think about it, it's just obvious that he's not actually running the country, right? Somebody else is running the country right now. It's not Kamala. She's running around doing God knows what. She's not talking to the press, so who knows? It's not Biden, because he's talking to his people and his people are taking care of things. So it's not him. So who's actually running the country? That should concern all of us to a huge extent. Now, here's where Kamala's husband admits that Kamala lied to him on their first date, or about before they went out on their first date. And he found out later. And so kind of they're making it like, the cute little story. I'm just pointing out the fact that she's been a liar forever.
What? I knew it. I knew it. Doug Emhoff here, and I'll be looking at some photographs of some of my favorite memories. On our first date, she said she didn't Google me, she just wanted to see me, she just wanted to have a natural reaction to me. So on national television, she finally admitted that she Googled me, and I just went, what? I knew it. I knew it. Because why would Kamala Harris, who's always prepared for everything, not be prepared for this first date for the man that she would ultimately marry?
Doesn't he seem like the first bitch? Kind of like, he just seems like the potential to me. Like very soy boy kind of weak sauce sort of thing going on. I mean, he could probably beat me arm wrestling. Maybe. I don't know. He usually looks like a bigger guy. I'm just assuming. Shut the fuck up. So we, there we go. Okay, so here is some of the fun that we can point out when it comes to Kamala Harris. So changes in household net worth since the start of the presidency, okay? So since the start, Trump is red, Biden is blue, makes sense. So over on the left, we've got Biden, left and right. One's adjusted for inflation on the right side, nominal value on the left, okay? So just looking at nominal numbers, Biden's not done very well, hasn't even hit 20% of a change in household net worth since the start of the presidency. Trump was way up. He was up to about 40% by the time he got out, right? And Biden dipped down a bunch under 10%, probably because of COVID. Yeah, that's a number of months. So yeah, probably puts it back around there. But when you adjust it for inflation, well, then that's a totally different thing. In fact, they barely come above zero. They're just like down around, 0.2%? Oh, 2% probably. About 2%. 2% growth. Trump adjusted for inflation still almost at 30, probably sitting at 28. 28% versus their 2%. This is adjusted for inflation. That's how bad the numbers have gotten. They are just destroying us. Food in Venezuela went from subsidized to scarce. So Venezuela was once the richest country in South America, but food prices have skyrocketed in recent years, forcing many to scavenge for things to eat. Cost of basic groceries is now about 5 times the minimum wage. Just for basic groceries is about 5 times their minimum wage. So we keep hearing about price controls. What rent control, price control, this is one of the things. Price controls are horrible. I think they did it with gasoline. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys, but I think Carter did it, right? And that was one of the things that Reagan had inherited, was this weird control they put on the prices of gas, which created this odd scarcity. I think that was when you guys did the odd even things, right? For getting gas, went through this crazy amount of pain for that. Reagan comes into office, changes that. It was actually very painful at first. Prices kind of spiked, things kind of freaked out, but then they quickly neutralized and actually became much better. But price controls don't work. They create all sorts of problems. So price controls and scarcity force Venezuelans to turn to the black market for milk and toilet paper. You guys remember what happened with COVID and toilet paper? Can you imagine what people would actually try to get for toilet paper? It's amazing. Especially when you think about it, like if you got a shower, I mean, you could probably time it, but I mean, there are ways you can clean your ass if you have to. From those struggling to meet inflated prices for everyday goods to lawyers turned pasta smuggler, the street economy flourishes under President Maduro. Yeah, the street economy. Not actually good for business. This is the path they're taking us down, is exactly what happened to Venezuela. Venezuela used to be an amazing country. Then it turned socialist. Then it became basically communist with a dictator. And that's who won't leave power now. Now, they have a way around that they're trying, but I'm going to talk about that when we get there. I don't think it's necessarily a great idea either. So we've got a bad situation, and it's not going to get better, at least until Trump is sworn into office. And then even still, it's going to take a little while for things to kind of come back around. If you're still in their system, their IRA or a 401k, you're tied to their stocks and you're tied to the dollar, inflation has eaten the hell out of that big time. It's gone down a lot. 20% over the last year. Your buying power is being reduced. The numbers look good on paper, and this is what most people don't understand, is how inflation works. It causes prices to go up. When prices go up, it means your dollar doesn't go as far. You were just making $100 a second ago. Now prices have gone up. Now you've got less of that $100 to spend because it's had its big old bite taken out of it, right? It's less valuable. The same bill of goods is now more expensive. So we find the problem is they continue to print money. We're going up at about $1 trillion every 100 days, probably faster than that because inflation and also because of interest eating us up, eating us alive. You don't want to be in their system. You want to get into precious metals. Precious metals as an asset are actually up in value even. Not just price, but value. Meaning they've gone up so much in price, they've outpaced inflation. It's actually one of the best mechanisms out there right now. It is literally one of the best performing assets out there. Some individual stocks, if you've got someone that's managing your portfolio like an individual, cool. I'd say keep doing it. You're probably fine. But if you're in a big money pool like Vanguard, like Fidelity, like a lot of those different investment companies, you're in a deep state company, man. They're investing in all the deep state stuff they want, right? The DEI stuff. Really, when it comes to the S&P, there's 500 companies in the S&P, but they're only investing in like the top 7. That's all their companies. So think about the crazy companies that they're investing in. Boeing would be one of them. Paramount would have been one of them. Again, a lot of these companies that have recently taken craps. Google would have been one, Alphabet, and they're taking a hit right now, especially because of the possible monopoly stuff that's going to be happening. Not good for business. I got out of their system. I got out, and I've been stoked ever since. I've got gold, I've got some silver. I've used Goldco. They're incredible too. Love them. I highly recommend it. It has been very good. It's outpacing. The only other asset that's kind of doing better, and it took a big hit, but it's still doing a little bit better at this point, is Bitcoin. Those are the two best assets right now. So again, Bitcoin, tough to deal with. You can't transition an IRA or a 401k into Bitcoin, at least yet. Maybe one day they'll figure out how to do that, but at the moment they haven't. Right now, the only thing you can really do it tax-free and penalty-free is into a precious metals IRA. We can do that for you. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Transfer tax-free, penalty-free out of their system. It's like a sideways step. You're literally getting physical gold. They put it into a trust. It's yours. It's got your name on it and everything. You can continue to donate to it if you'd like. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system before the stock market finally takes that hit, before the next weird little piece of news comes out, before the wars start, which are going to hurt the markets. This is one of those things where you're not going to be able to do it right when things are getting bad. Like you're going to be able to time it perfectly. Probably not. Not unless you got a really good magic 8-ball. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system. Protect your wealth before they take it from you. DRSlikesgold.com. This was a good post that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. put out. It seemed like a reasonable place to put this. VP Harris's Democratic Party would be unrecognizable to my father and uncle, and I cannot reconcile it with my values. The Democratic Party of RFK and JFK was the party of civil liberties and free speech. VP Harris's is the party of censorship, lockdowns, and medical coercion. Kennedy Democrats were anti-war. Kamala's is riddled with neocon warmongers. The RFK, JFK Dems were allies of Main Street, cops, firefighters, and working people. VP Harris is the party of big tech, big pharma, and Wall Street. My dad and uncle's party was a champion of voting rights and fair elections. VP Harris is the party of lawfare, disenfranchisement, and the coronation of its candidates by corporate donors and party elites. I've used our nation's courts to prosecute corporations who hurt black Americans. VP Harris used our nation's courts to mercilessly prosecute black Americans and exploit them for their labor. My father and uncle prided themselves on their skill at debate and their ability to articulate a coherent vision for our country. VP Harris is scared to debate and can't survive an unscripted interview. Instead of outlining a vision, she relies on middle school tactics, memes, forged headlines, infantile slogans, joy, and name-calling. Republicans are weird. So JFK continues, I've spent years battling government corruption and lies. VP Harris spent years gaslighting Americans about the health of our commander-in-chief. I have no plans to endorse Kamala Harris for president. I do have a plan to defeat her. Now, I don't think he has much of a chance to do that, but I love the fact that he's still going at it, because I don't think he's hurting our side of the fence at all. He's messing up their side of the fence. What's hard now for them is that he's pretty hardcore progressive, and now he's having to play more left center, which is kind of a trip. So it's still going to pull some of those people away from Kamala, which I think is a good thing. And she's just going to have that progressive group, because that's about all she's really working towards or trying to do right by. She's definitely not doing right by a lot of other people. So we'll see how things continue to play out. MSNBC says the left is using memes and videos to fuel record-breaking fundraising. And they're going to share with us some of these very powerful memes that they're putting out. Dude, we are so much better at the meme game. Like, you'll see it in a second, and you'll be like, oh my God, really? This is what they got. This was the best that they shared with us, I'm assuming, or some of the best.
I'm going to show you some examples. You can think of these as the political cartoons and yard signs of today, with more people involved in making them, from the memes to the fun videos.
Bless my soul, Kamala's on a roll, looking like a snack while taking down the Trump patrol.
I think the apple's rotten right to the core, from all the things I've done, from all the apples coming before. Childless cat lady, I am running the whole country. Childless cat lady, meow meow. Watch out, JD.
This is homemade stuff, what we used to call grassroots. But Harris's team has leaned into it, engaged a dialogue with what the supporters are creating, fueling record-breaking fundraising, and using these tools to route around and even ignore more traditional methods of campaigning.
I tell you, this was definitely one of those things where you're just like, really, that's all you guys got? And they are very overselling the fact that they're doing so well and wonderful. There's a lot of people, I think, that kind of believe it. So it's sort of having a positive impact. And I think it's actually deflated many people on our side of the fence, though unfortunately I wish they realized it's not accurate, but it is what it is. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. tried to meet with Kamala Harris to discuss a cabinet job, apparently. Sought a meeting with her, which I thought was interesting. He says all this stuff. He probably made that quote after she dogged him or whatever. But the Kennedy outreach, made through intermediaries, follows a meeting in Milwaukee last month between Kennedy and Republican nominee Donald Trump to discuss a similar policy role and endorsement that resulted in no agreement. In those discussions, Kennedy spoke about advising Trump in a second term on health and medical issues. The independent candidate and namesake of the most famous American political dynasty is exploring multiple options for the future of his presidential effort, which has seen a decline in national polling since President Joe Biden dropped out of the race. His campaign has produced polling, which it has tried to share with Democrats. That is, it claims shows that both Harris and Trump would get a boost in their public support across 31 states if either candidate announced publicly that Kennedy would have a cabinet role in their administration. But it requires him to also say, hey, I'm supporting Trump, for example. I would bet Trump would want to use him, but again, he is so kind of radical left, and I would assume if Trump ever did bring him into the cabinet, it would be well after he's gotten many things established already. I don't know. I feel like trust would be somewhat of an issue. I don't know if they've got good discussions behind the scenes or what, but who knows. Kamala Harris stonewalls congressional probe into National NatSec's advisors' ties to Iran influence network. It's kind of, we've talked about the story, but Senator Tom Cotton's the one that's digging into this, and Elise Stefanik. And they launched this inquiry last month into Harris's advisor, Phil Gordon. They had a long-standing relationship with Pentagon official Ariane Tabatabai. I think you guys probably remember that. I certainly did. When I saw the last name, I'm like, oh, God, it strikes again. She was outed last year as an alleged member of an Iranian-run influence network that reported back to Tehran's foreign ministry. Cotton and Stefanik gave Harris an August 9th deadline to provide detailed information about Gordon's relationship with Tabatabai and links to pro-Tehran advocacy groups, which the lawmaker said raises questions about his eligibility to hold top secret security clearance. Harris did not reply. So she's just, again, they're now going to have to go to compulsory means. It's so weird why they don't do that up front, but whatever the case is, they got to go through this formal asking process, and then they say like, oh, no, F you. And then they're like, all right, now we're compulsory. Now you actually have to give them to us. All right. That's just stupid. The way this works is painful sometimes. States file federal lawsuit seeking to shut down the Biden bucks. There was a number of states that joined in on this. But on Tuesday, Attorney General from 9 states, Iowa, Kansas, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and South Dakota, they filed a federal lawsuit asking a U.S. district court in Wichita, Kansas, to shut down an executive order that is using federal agencies to register and mobilize left-leaning voters with the assistance of White House-approved leftist organizations. Amongst the changes, the complaint alleges the Biden administration has usurped the appropriating power of Congress, which did not grant the executive branch authority to fund the unprecedented GOTV initiative. So essentially, we're watching the government spend money to help get the same crooked government back in. You're not allowed to do that. That's big time illegal. Of course, the Bidens are doing it, right? Not a surprise. Everything that they've had turned back. How many countless things have been turned back on them already? You just look at the gun laws they've tried. You look at the giving back the money to the students. What else? They've tried all the waterways was an interesting one. Yeah, the Supreme Court came out with some doozies right before they went on break. I assume they come back, the end of the month? Something like that? Soon, I hope. A lot of talk out there. I know there's a lot of people that are talking Brunson. I keep hearing that on the old rumor mill, too. I don't think that's going to play out the way people expect it to, at least not yet. I think that's a ways off. I think Brunson's a way off. We'll see. This is how they're padding the voter rolls with illegal aliens. Arizona's Adrian Fontes redesigned the voter registration form in violation of HAVA to solicit the last 4 digits of your social security number first instead of the driver's license. Apparently, to get a driver's license, you probably have to have proof of citizenship. You don't to get a social security number. We know that much. And we also know that sometimes social security numbers are, used by multiple people, which isn't cool. Especially if you're the one that's paying taxes into it or hoping to withdraw from it at some point. Social Security Administration doesn't report citizenship status through HAVA, so the fact that they made this change is questionable, certainly. It also sort of ties under this, too, and there's been a number of election rulings that have happened recently. The Supreme Court is going to review the limits on changing voting rules close to elections. This is going to be interesting because I think to a degree, we needed to be able to change right before the election, because if we can change it right before the election, we don't give the bad guys enough time to deal with it. So I kind of wonder how this one's going to play out. I don't think it's going to be a 9-0 kind of type thing. I think it'll be like a 5-4 kind of thing. We'll see. They'll be talking about it. Ultimately, it goes back to this 2006 ruling, this Purcell principle. It has to do with there was justices not providing detailed framework for applying Purcell. They leave it up to judges typically to do it. But in 2006, Purcell versus Gonzalez case, the Supreme Court overturned a lower court ruling that had blocked voter ID laws in Arizona, citing the imminent midterm elections. In the current case, an Arizona federal judge initially blocked the proof of citizenship law, but a Ninth Circuit Court panel reinstated it before it was blocked again by a different panel in a 2-1 decision on August 1st. They did not want to open this up. They did not want to force citizenship into the voting. They don't want non-citizens to be found out. They need non-citizens to vote. They do. They have to. And they try to call that democracy. That's where you're rushing people in here that are not legal, and now you want them to vote. And the reason Democrats are fine with it is because they feel, well, you're going to vote our way, so it's going to help us stay in power. And all the people that are running around that call themselves Democrats that actually think their government cares about them when they don't, they're happy with it too, though they don't realize it's destroying their country, and they don't frankly seem to care. Or they're just not smart enough to figure it out. I don't know. It's probably a mixture of all the above. But this case is going to be looked at. Supposedly, the Supreme Court's supposed to, I think, make some sort of decision about whether or not they're going to take it up. RNC has requested a ruling by August 22nd. The court has set up a deadline for a response by Friday, I guess, of this week, so probably by tomorrow. We're going to be playing some Kenny Loggins. Woohoo! In Seth Rich FOIA case, Judge Massant has just ordered the FBI to basically, you got to give up the docs. They gave them a couple ways they could go, but they didn't let the FBI get away with this whole no, we don't have to produce them because it's like involved in something else or whatever the case is. No, the judge ordered you got to give up these documents. So it's either conduct a document by document review of the information it possesses on the compact disc containing images of Seth Rich's personal laptop, Seth Rich's work laptop, the DVD, and the tape drive. B, Either one, produce Vaughn indexes addressing the information it possesses on the compact disc containing images of Seth Rich's personal laptop, Seth Rich's work laptop, the DVD, and the tape drive that is responsive to plaintiff's FOIA request by February 7th of 2025. Or, the second choice, file a motion for a summary judgment regarding the information it possesses on the compact disc containing images of Seth Rich's personal laptop, Seth Rich's work laptop, DVD, and tape drive in response by the FOIA request on February 7th. Basically, it's like, here's it. This is, you got to do this. Don't kill. And now, again, will they? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, what happens, whether the FBI does what they're supposed to. So far, they've not when it comes to, giving up documents that they've been, requested, and they decided that they didn't have to deal with that, right? They just decided not to. That's illegal. And Merrick Garland is the one that decided that it was okay to not do that, and he wasn't going to arrest anyone for not giving up documents. So yeah, no, we've got all sorts of fairness going on in this two-tier system. Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has requested the Arizona fake elector case against him be moved from Maricopa County into federal court, according to court documents filed Wednesday. The request comes weeks after Meadows asked the U.S. Supreme Court to intervene in his similar effort to move the Fulton County, Georgia election case into federal court. In Wednesday's filings, Meadows' attorneys said their client's request is based on recent new Supreme Court authority clarifying the scope of immunity, citing the court's recent presidential immunity ruling. Meadows' attorney argued that the case should also be moved from a state court because the indictment squarely relates to Mr. Meadows' conduct as a chief of staff to the president. So we'll see, again, how that plays out. It should hopefully get moved. That would make a lot of sense. Let's see, some stuff going on with the Secret Service, and this is, it's not looking good, that's for sure. And yesterday we had some pretty damning news that was given to us by the current director or whatever. So this is from Clay Higgins. This is where he's from his getting involved in investigating what's going on. He used to be a cop and stuff. I think he did time in the service as well. So here's the notable findings he's sharing with us. 1, U.S. Secret Service did not retrieve the radios that had been set aside for them by Butler County Tactical Command. The radio comms were properly and perfectly arranged during the extensive pre-mission planning. 2, all 8 casings from shots fired by crooks were recovered and are allegedly in proper possession of the FBI. 3, the 9th shot fired on J13th was from a Butler SWAT operator from the ground about 100 yards away from the AGR building. Shot 9 hit Crook's rifle stock and fragged his face, neck, shoulder area from the stock breaking up. 4, the 10th, and I believe final shot, was fired from the Southern Counter Sniper Team. 5, my effort to examine Crooks' body on Monday, August 5th, caused quite a stir and revealed a disturbing fact. The FBI released the body for cremation just 10 days after J13. The water tower was cleared by drone J13th AM by the County Tactical Command. ESU Commander Lenz himself supposedly did it, so supposedly that got checked in the morning, so there wasn't anybody up there at that time. Now this is alarming. The government cremated Thomas Crook's body, and the coroner and autopsy report were both suspiciously late. Who wants to bet, and I'm totally agreeing with this, I think Clay Higgins even maybe put this out, or maybe it's just Pepe's Lives Matter is actually surmising this, which I think he's correct. Who wants to bet that Thomas Crooks was on some kind of drug, i.e. MK Ultra programming, and they don't want anyone seeing what was in his system? What are they trying to hide? Now, again, I still think they made him a patsy. I think there was quite possibly another shot that was fired, quite possibly suppressed. It would make a lot of sense from inside that building, likely, but I don't know. Again, don't know. I think he was always meant to be the patsy. I don't think they ever expected that he'd pull it off, though he did rather well. Give him points for that. So we even have a photo now. Anna Paulina Luna shared this with us, and it looks like you can see him carrying the rifle. It's hard to tell. It's always shit photos. Cracks me up how many people actually have like legitimate cameras on their phones, and they'll send you pictures of stuff, and it's blurry as fudge. And you're just like, what? Do you not know how to take pictures? What is up? That you realize it's neat when you can actually see stuff. But needless to say, there is sort of a black thing kind of going down the side. Could be a shadow from his arm. I mean, I don't know. It does seem to extend just as long as his arm, but And an AR is longer than that, typically. I mean, it'd be longer than arm's length, that's for sure. At least mine is. The stock, counting the stock? I don't know, pretty sure. I don't like hold it that often. Here's Secret Service agent abandoned her post, apparently to breastfeed. All this stuff on J13th, by the way.
The Secret Service detail that's guarding former President Donald Trump. So this coming from Real Clear Politics, reporting that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post in North Carolina to breastfeed her baby during Trump's visit yesterday to the Tar Heel state. The report says about 5 minutes before Trump's motorcade arrived, the site agent who manages security for the entire event did a final sweep of the location.
And while walking the route, the site agent reportedly found the Secret Service special agent in question breastfeeding with 2 other family members present in a room that's supposed to be set aside for official business like an emergency involving the president. The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time. Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
All right, still working on clarification and details on this, that coming from the reporter for RCP. And it comes about a month after what many consider to be the biggest Secret Service failure in recent American history, the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. For details, national correspondent Alana Austin just got a response from the Secret Service spokesman on this. She joins us live from Capitol Hill with this story. Alana.
Hi, good morning, Sean and Emma. And certainly, as you mentioned there, we're really just weeks out from the attempted assassination on the former president. And we heard from a whistleblower, if you will, a counter sniper, saying he was worried there could be another attack imminently as all of these campaign events, the calendar intensifies here leading up to the November elections. And here's the response I just received from the U.S. Secret Service spokesperson. It is saying all employees of the U.S. Secret Service are held to the highest standards. While there was no impact to the North Carolina event, the specifics of this incident are being examined. Given this is a personnel matter, we are not in a position to comment further. So there were many alarming details of this report that first broke from Real Clear Politics about the family members on site. Of course, just minutes before this event is really supposed to get underway, a Secret Service agent apparently breaking numerous policies and protocols. I've asked the U.S. Secret Service if they could clarify whether all the details of this report are accurate, and at this point in time, we are waiting for further clarification.
Insanity. I'm actually waiting for them to tell us that the counter snipers, even though we saw them on the rooftops, like, well, there were supposed to be 6 of them, but 2 of them were working from home. Like, I just can't wait, because this is so inept. This is so bad. Like, if literally it's true that a lady in Secret Service that was there to protect the president at an event had her baby with her. Are you freaking serious? Like, that's, I don't care what's going on. Like, she either goes home with the kid or, right? Like, oh, I don't, man, that's, wow. So Secret Service apparently now is going to be using bulletproof glass for outdoor Trump rallies kind of going forward. I guess they normally only do that for regular presidents. I don't know why they wouldn't anyway, but whatever the case is, like, I don't think anyone wants to shoot Biden. That would just cause problems for them. I don't know. Who knows? I'm still waiting for the switcheroo, right? The 25th Amendment. I feel like that's got to come in at some point, but things are weird right now. They're weirdly calm, though I think her numbers are tanking, even though they keep telling us she's doing so great. I don't think she actually is. So we'll see how that plays out. I got some Trump stuff here. Got some few different videos of people talking about Trump, and it's always good times. Here is Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson saying some positive things about the economy.
The policies that this man supports, that I support, that they should be voting for. The economy under Donald Trump was firing on all cylinders. This nation was energy independent, and this nation wanted for nothing. Now under Joe Biden, we see the country suffering. We see gas prices at an all-time high, grocery prices at an all-time high, inflation through the roof. We're suffering because of bad policy. We need to get the good times back. And how do we get the good times back? We re-elect President Donald Trump to fix this economy, fix this border, and fix this nation and make this nation great again.
Dang straight. Make this nation great again. Here's Gina Carano kind of talking about how, well, just kind of a neat little discussion she's having. I forget who's the show that she's on. This guy's pretty good. I like him. He does a lot of good. He has a lot of great people on his show. But yeah, Gina was on his show. They're talking about like the attempts on Trump's life and just kind of we all know that they're going to try it more. And they even get into the way the cabal works and how they can't lose. Understand that. And that I can't overemphasize. They can't lose. They can't. They know what happens if they do. They can't, which means they'll do everything in their power to make sure they win. That is why when it comes to election time, it's going to matter so much that every single one of us goes out and votes, because the numbers have to be insane, way higher than they've ever been before. Anyway, here's Gina Carano talking about stuff.
Just by what they tried to do with Trump the other day, it seems like they can't lose. Because if they do lose, they are all done for a while until they die. Pass away from old age or whatever, or get imprisoned even. I mean, people belong in prison.
Yeah.
So with the mentality of this group that cannot lose without being exposed, I don't see how they let Trump get back in there. And then you have to really just pray that Trump, Trump holds on to, power and power checks himself, because anybody in that situation. And I think he seems like he's in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah.
I'd say he's never looked more mature as a politician. I say he's outshining the entire Democrat Party. Like, I think they're getting exposed left and right. And it'd be wonderful to have him back in office to kind of set things straight. But it's not going to be pretty, because they can't lose.
Yeah.
If they lose, people are going to prison.
The more desperate they become, the more drastic the attempts are. And
yeah, this is what we're heading into. They desperately need him out of the way, but I don't believe he can be removed. I just don't think that I don't think it's allowed. I think we're going through a transition that has more purpose, and it's kind of like, the United States was sort of a chosen land to a large extent, right? We were a dream. We were kind of an experiment to see if it could be done. And I think we're proving that it can be, and I think we're also proving that this might very well be a very excellent form of government that we're having here. So we'll see. We got to keep fighting for it. Freedom is never easy. It never has been. And certainly this entire generation realizes at this time that it is definitely something we are having to work for. Some of us very hard at it, nonetheless. Donald Trump talking about this World Health Organization and the potentiality of them issuing a monkeypox pandemic. They are trying to make a big deal out of monkeypox. It's not that many cases. In fact, they're declined and at the lowest level they've been in like a number of years, yet they're trying to make it a pandemic right now. So we're going to, of course, see that play out. But Trump got some strong words to the deep state in regards to that, and I think strong words to all of us as well.
The left-wing lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID. But they will fail because we will not let it happen. When I'm back in the White House, I will use every available authority to cut federal funding to any school, college, airline, or public transportation system that imposes a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate. Thank you very much.
Thank God for this dude. I love Donald Trump. I really do. Didn't when he was first coming in, but frick, I do now, man. This guy's awesome. Here's a little bit of Donald Trump talking about Kamala Harris.
Did you know that the Kamala Harris price hikes have cost the average family $28,000? That credit card debt is at an all-time high, and that basically the prices of things have never been like this ever before. There's never been anything like it. If you want to bring the prices down, if you want to have a good life, vote for Trump.
Yeah, and again, I know too many people on the left. It's so weird when you talk to them, and you're just like, how do you come to these conclusions? It's so weird. It's just very bizarre. And they think the same about us. It's unreal to me. So strange. So strange. Yeah, whatever. Donald Trump, we're leading in almost all polls, in some cases leading by a lot, despite the fact that the fake news is pulling out all stops for their radical left San Francisco liberal Kamala Harris. In 2016, we did well and won. In 2020, we got millions of more votes and actually did much better than 2016, but nothing compares to this year, 2024. The enthusiasm is great, and the management team, headed up by Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita, is the best. There was a story out that Trump was thinking of getting rid of those two, by the way, partially why I think they got called out specifically. Again, we got to be really careful. Anytime anybody shares stories, and when I do too, I point out that it's, apparently people we don't know or, anonymous sources are telling us this. So whenever that happens, we know it's almost assuredly not true, especially when they're talking about Trump's camp. Trump's not talking to people. He's not giving up in secrets to anybody. There's no anonymous people that are close to Trump that are leaking anything. He's either doing it on purpose or he's saying it himself or it's not coming from his camp. So keep that in mind. So he's literally calling out Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita. They're the best. Many people want to join the campaign for the final push, some from the first two campaigns, and we want as many as we can get. I am pleased to announce that Corey Lewandowski, who was very involved in 2016, will be coming on board as a senior advisor. Others, likewise, are joining us. They'll be announced soon. Again, these 82 days will go down as the most important in campaign history, and November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. We are a nation in decline, but we will soon be a great nation again. MAGA 2024. Tim Walz on Wednesday agreed to participate in vice presidential debate hosted by CBS News on October 1st. Former presidential debate campaign has not yet agreed to the date, leaving GOP Senator J.D. Vance's participation in question. Earlier in the day, CBS News proposed 4 dates for a debate between the two vice presidential nominees, September 17th, September 24th, October 1st, and October 8th. Now, interestingly, he's supposed to be, September 18th, he's supposed to be, Mershon's going to bust him down or whatever. Supposed to give him his sentencing, which is probably going to be prison. We'll see. But yeah, September 24th, October 1st, October 8th. The Harris-Walz campaign soon agreed to the October 1st date. So they said, we'll see you on October 1st, J.D. Walz. J.D. Vance I think, finally acknowledged it. I think he finally basically said, we'll get there. But President Trump is having his second extended press conference in a week. The Trump-Vance ticket proves every day they are willing to answer any questions on any topic from any outlet. The Harris-Walz ticket still hasn't participated in any tough press conferences or interviews. Fox News contributor Andrew McCarthy says prepare for Trump to be sentenced to prison on September 18th. He thinks he's going to be put in prison for the 34 counts of business records falsification, which is insane. Like, it's a legal expense. It's what you would put for it. And it's just, this whole thing is just ridiculous. I'm curious if it gets stayed like other stuff has happened. We had that one judge that did a secret meeting without the defense prosecutor being there. I forget the name of the rapper guy that was being busted, but essentially the dude found out about it and then brought it up in court. And he's like, how did you find out about it? And he didn't give up his sources, so the judge put him in jail, or was going to put him in jail. And basically there was stayed. That judge was removed. I mean, it was a big deal. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Duchan's going to have this overturned. I don't think they're actually going to put Trump in jail. It just be ridiculous. He'd get all sorts of money on it. I mean, that would be insane. It'd be insane. the next T-shirt, and I mean, it's just right. So we'll see. Coming up soon, a little ways away, just over a month, basically. Donald Trump's lawyers officially asked Juan Merchan to vacate September 18th sentencing date based on pending presidential immunity questions in the case. Now, this will be the other interesting thing. Does this manage to get pushed back further? Because that could be incredible. So I want to see. Merchan's not done anything positive ever, and he's not let him use defenses that he should have. I mean, there's just countless things that this is just ridiculous. So we'll see. Counsel notes that proceedings in Jack Smith J6 case in D.C. have not been slowed due to the DOJ's unclear approach after the SCOTUS rulings, or they have been slow, I should say. So, yeah, it all needs to kind of happen. So we'll see. We'll see what Merchan does. I mean, they're all playing a game of chess, right? They're moving pieces around very carefully. Is JD going to have a national spotlight on the night Trump is sentenced to prison? This was someone that was speculating whether or not he would be doing the debate on September 18th, though the dates they proposed were not the 18th, it was the 17th, and also after that. So they chose the October 1st date, so it doesn't matter. They're, just useless speculation. That was probably a story I should have deleted, but again, like I had the problem I had, and I had to go back to history and open a whole bunch of crap and then figure out where it goes again. Brutal. J.D. Vance says he wants a real debate with opponent Tim Walz, not a fake news media garbage one. So we'll see how that plays.
Well, Senator, is there any doubt that you will not be there on October 1st to debate Walz?
Look, Laura, we want to actually look at the debates, look at the moderators, talk about the rules a little bit. CBS reached out to us about this literally 3 hours ago. I was landing from a rally and a press conference in Michigan. I strongly suspect we're going to be there on October the 1st, but we're not going to do one of these fake debates, Laura, where they don't actually have an audience there, where they don't actually set the parameters in the right way, where you can have a good exchange of ideas. In other words, we're not going to walk into a fake news media garbage debate. We're going to do a real debate, and if CBS agrees to it, then certainly we'll do it.
Yeah, I'm curious if they actually do debate it properly. Apparently they agreed to it somewhere. I think I lost that story. Who knows? Both Nerdly posted this. High school young men and women have fun. That's weird. To be a bunch of out of touch, can't relate to people, Trump-hating so-called Republicans. But again, yeah, just as J.D. Vance when he was younger. These are like my types of friends. Like, my girlfriends would have done something like this. Not my actual dating friend, but just girlfriends, friends of, like, I was in theater and stuff, so a bunch of the chicks I knew. Totally. This is a funny-ass picture. That's hilarious. 3 chicks peeing at a urinal, supposedly, right? And JD's like, hey, what's going on here? That's actually pretty damn funny. I think he's a little younger than I am, maybe, but still, very fun. Good times. Good times. Eric Trump previews major Trump org move into cryptos as he charts the family company's future. There's just a bunch of rumors going on around this. I don't know what it's going to be. They're going to explain it to us in a couple weeks. I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it, but yeah, that said, they're going to big crypto announcement they're going to be making. Police identify suspect accused of breaking into Trump campaign Virginia headquarters. I guess they found the dude. That's pretty cool. So they put an arrest warrant out for Toby Shane Kessler, 39-year-old, who was accused of breaking into the former president's campaign headquarters in Ashburn, Virginia. He's being charged with burglary, according to the local news reports. That's interesting. Odds are this situation happened, because this happened, by the way, right after these two people decided to say positive things and endorse President Trump. So ESPN then, shortly thereafter, fires rising star analysts Robert Griffin III and Sam Ponder in a shock move just weeks before NFL season. Probably just coincidence that this happens right after RG III came out in support of Trump after the assassination attempt, right? And then ESPN supposedly fires them. They, I guess, NFL Countdown host Sam Ponder because of financial reasons, they said. Maybe true. Maybe it's that. Let's call it that. Maybe because advertisers said, we'll leave if you keep them. America First Legal is just, CBS, they just denied CBS's attempt to dismiss their lawsuit against them for this anti-white racism thing they're doing. CBS was trying to act like it didn't affect them, like they didn't have standing or something to that effect. And the court's like, no, these guys can totally sue you. It's cool. Let's get the game on. So, yeah, America First Legal is going to continue their lawsuit against CBS for hiring practices that ignore or leave out white people, which is illegal. This is going to be fun as the companies that are deep state pay the ultimate price. NBC News posted this, so it's probably crap. West Virginia state senator removed as committee chair after indecent exposure charges. Yeah, employees at the Gumby's Cigarette and Beer World, fun place. Apparently there was some sort of little back room or something where he was like watching something. He was committing an act of sexual gratification in the establishment's video lottery room. I don't know. Maroney was the only person in the room at the time, so at least he wasn't, doing it in front of people, which I still think is strange, but whatever. Gumby's employees called the Glendale Police Department, and they busted him for that. I think it's misdemeanor stuff, but they took him off a committee in West Virginia's legislative committee, some whatever, I don't know. Anyway. MyPillow.com/OTF. You guys want to check it out? You want to get your OTF discounts? You want to take advantage of the awesome products at MyPillow? Got one of the best pillows ever, by the way. I love this pillow, and they've got it for $20, less than $20, $19.98 right now. Over 80 million of these pillows sold. This is why I fell in love with the company, was this product. Love this product. $5 more if you want a king size. They've also got the best towels I've ever used. Absolutely love their towels. I love their bed sheets. They're amazing. They've got super deep pockets, so even if you've got the topper, you've got plenty of room, and on that fourth corner, you're not like trying to, stroke out, trying to get that last corner on there, or possibly tearing your sheets. I've ruined sheets before trying to get them around the fourth corner, especially that under that little padding thing under there. Damn, that thing, I've destroyed those too before. They don't always have the deep pocket sheets. MyPillow does. They're amazing. They're awesome. So their sheets are incredible. Their towels are incredible. Their pillows are incredible. And they've got that new 2.0 pillow. You want to try that out and check it out. They've got it. They got a buy one, get one going on with that. They've got pillows of all kinds, pillows for your couches, pillows for travel. They've got these cool little ones that have like religious stuff on them or American flags and cool things like that. These slippers are amazing. They are so thick. There's so much of that fur stuff inside of there, and they're really well made. There's like 7 layers to it. They're stitched on the side. They're like a rubber sole, so you can wear them outside. They're fabulous. I don't wear indoor slippers outside because it just seems weird to me, but I've seen people do it all the time, and they're extraordinarily comfortable. They got them without the heel, with the heel. They've got the pink ones for the ladies. They've got some great stuff, and you probably should think gifts coming up or birthdays possibly coming up. Great slippers. Can't go wrong with them. I haven't tried the socks yet. I'm sure they're awesome, but I haven't tried them yet. I got to try the socks one of these days. The coffee's surprisingly good, and then, of course, the pet beds are amazing. I've talked to a whole bunch of people that have used these pet beds. Their dogs and cats love them. Mostly their dogs, because I think you don't really get your cat a pet bed unless you get like a weird cat, and they're out there, I'm sure. But dogs, man, they love you. They're like, dude, this is the greatest bed ever. And then when you think about it, they're only like $25, and you're like, well, shoot, he always likes to hang out with me when I'm, in the shower or whatever. So maybe you put one over there, right? So you got a pillow over there. So he's just got his own little bed wherever he's going to, in the kitchen, right? Wherever, all the little places where he tends to hang out with you. Maybe you just have an extra bed, right? So he doesn't have to drag it around the house. Make it easy on him. All said, you want to go to mypillow.com/OTF. Mypillow.com/OTF. Giving free shipping on orders over $75. And with all those $25 deals, you can't go wrong. $25 deals, you get like 3 or 4 of those. You got to get over $75. And then, boom, shipping is paid for. And that's awesome. And these guys ship. They're pretty solid about shipping, too. You get the product pretty quickly. It's pretty awesome. MyPillow's rad. They've been really good too, and I've had to even do some customer service stuff a couple times with them, and they've just been outstanding. Every time I've ever had to talk to them and work with them in any way, shape, or form, an amazing company. Mike Lindell's doing awesome stuff. Highly recommend it. Their products are incredible. They speak for themselves. You're helping the channel, and you're helping an American company. There's a lot of really good things going on with mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had, and you certainly will. Pro-Trump lawyer has been removed from the Dominion case after leaking documents to cast doubt on 2020 election. This is pretty awesome. And many are suspicious that she might have just gotten on this case just so she could get those documents, just so she could leak them. She was probably not supposed to do that. But yeah, Michigan lawyer Stephanie Lambert has been representing Patrick Byrne, the founder of Overstock.com, in a defamation lawsuit brought against him by Dominion, one of the many targets of conspiracy theories over the former President Donald Trump's election loss. This is AP's story, so of course they're going to spin it like that. But Lambert was disqualified from the case on Tuesday after admitting to releasing thousands of confidential discovery documents that she had agreed to keep private. Due to these actions, they were supposed to be confidential. They weren't. This was, I think, stuff with Dominion, part of the discovery process. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. How else do you make stuff public when they won't let you, right? Like, so, again, all these things are not by accident, folks. She might have sacrificed her career, but it was well done and well worth it. Google says it observed Iran trying to hack the Trump and Biden-Harris campaigns. They were phishing attempts, and they do mention that, but that's not a hack. So hacking is not phishing. Phishing and hacking are two different things. Hacking is when you figure out a way to crack or guess or whatever someone's password, and you get into their account through that, or you do it through some other back-end means or whatever. But generally, it's through some form of coming up with passwords to get in. Phishing is when you actually get someone to give you their password, and then you log in with their password. That's not hacking at all. That's just logging in. You didn't. It's like breaking and entering. You didn't break in and enter if they gave you their key and you just walked in the front door with the key. You didn't break in. You entered, but you didn't break in. So it's just word games, word salad, whatever. But yeah, supposedly they knew about it. Makes me think they were behind it, but whatever. That's just, I don't trust them at all. Google especially at all. Saudi Crown Prince informed U.S. Congress members that his life is in danger because he's been working to try to normalize relations with Israel. Been trying to get people to get along with Israel, trying to get Israel to kind of calm it down a little bit too, trying to bring the tensions down, and now his life is at risk. Go figure. U.S. allegedly presented Tehran a list of Mossad agents that are involved in Haniyeh assassination. They literally gave him a list of Mossad agents that were currently operating inside of Iran. This is what the Biden administration did. Gave Iran information that will likely lead to the death of Israeli intelligence agents. That's what they did. They gave this to Iran to try to prove to them we didn't have anything to do with this. So we gave up Israeli intelligence assets, or at least their names. That is extraordinarily bad. Extraordinarily bad. Supposedly there was an agreement between Zelensky, this is the Nord Stream pipeline, so supposedly there was an agreement that they were going to go ahead and go after this thing. So Germany's ex-spy chief, August Hanning, said there was some agreement between Zelensky and Duda, whatever, to carry out the attacks on the Nord Stream pipeline. CIA caught wind of it, kind of went to Zelensky and basically said, whoa, no, you can't be doing this, bro. This is not going to go well. And maybe, or we're already doing it, or whatever. I don't know how the conversation went. Because we definitely think that either the British or the United States was likely behind it. There was President Biden made a weird remark. There was that British chick that was in charge for about 4 seconds. She made a strange remark on a phone call, supposedly. So again, a lot of very strange things came out of that Nord Stream that makes it very much look like we were behind it, or the deep state for sure, but our government or the British government, one of the two were the ones that might have been behind it. All said, Zelensky supposedly backed off from this. It's odd that it seems like we're trying to make it seem like he was behind it now. And that's just maybe more of that deflection because they don't want to admit that it was the United States all along, because that was a pretty bad thing to happen to Russia. So, like, at all costs, we can't let Russia think it was us or England, because that's attacking another country. That's an act of war. We would have done an act of war against Russia, and we were doing it in the hopes of getting Russia to attack, us, but not prove that it was us, so it would look like Russia was the aggressor. But if we blew up their pipeline, then we committed an act of war. That would be super bad. Now, again, Biden gave up Mossad agents. Biden had something to do with doing an act of war against Russia. So Ukraine on Thursday, they rejected this whole thing that they had anything to do with this. It said it's absolute nonsense. Daily Mail's reporting the West must be bolder. Let us use missiles, Zelensky says. He wants to be able to shoot deep into the heart of Russia with U.S. and British missiles, long-range missiles. He says it's time to take off the gloves. It's time to actually attack Russia in their heart. Now, this is, again, us attacking Russia. We're using our weapons, our abilities, all that. It's 100% us attacking Russia. And then we get mad at Iran for Iran selling missiles to Russia. Again, it blows my mind. The absolute complete hypocrisy. We're literally arming a country to fight against someone we don't like. And then other countries that don't like us fund this country that's defending themselves from this or helping the attack, helping with, I mean, they're the ones that I guess kind of went into Ukraine, so whatever. We kept moving NATO, so hard to know, chicken or the egg or, smoke or fire. Don't know which is first. It's hard to say. I think we kept screwing them over and over, and then we finally had, after the Afghanistan withdrawal, and they realized how weak we were, then they took advantage of it. That's exactly what happened. Secret Putin files reveal British targets Russian Navy would hit with nuclear missiles in the event of a war with NATO. This goes back to like 2013 or something like that. So it's a ways back. Some old list. Not even relatively, it's probably not even the same. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of the targets would still matter today. Mostly a lot of British stuff. I don't think there was a bunch of U.S. stuff. But yeah, drawn up between 2008 and 2014. 29 documents show that Russia had the capability to transport nuclear weapons on surface ships in spite of the risks of accidents that could present themselves. So again, this goes way back, but they're just trying to make a big deal about it, trying to make it seem like Russia's trying to blow everybody up. Again, Russia's the boogeyman. Russia. It's the same old song and dance. U.S.-Brazil floats new Venezuela election despite rebuffs from Maduro and the opposition. Biden spoke to reporters in the wake of Lula's suggestion that Venezuelan leaders Nicolas Maduro could call a new contest involving international observers. Could you imagine having an election in the United States and having other countries actually make sure they're safe? Would that bother you? It'd bother me. I don't want any other country. I want us to figure it out. I want us to make sure we have a fair election, a correct election, a legal election. Sure as hell don't want China in here making sure we have one. You kidding me? That's not going to make me any happier. Meta kills off misinformation tracking tool CrowdTangle, despite pleas from researchers and journalism. Turned off this tool. They were using this tool to essentially go after people like us. They were using this tool to monitor social media posts, notably to track how misinformation spreads on the company's platform. So this was being used by the deep state. And they were hoping to use it in the election cycle. So they're very upset. They're like, dude, can't you just keep this running a little bit longer? But it's like Meta and Instagram is intentionally turning this off before the election. And they're bummed. Now, one thing that is kind of funny, Tori says, pulled this up. Pretty sweet piece of work. Facebook's CrowdTangle is the leading content discovery and social monitoring platform for publishers and brands. But when we look at donations, interesting that we got, the Sunrise Movement and what was the other one? Act Blue. Two major donors to CrowdTangle are this Democratic people, this deep state. Soros. They've been paying for all these different things, all these tools they've been using against us. There's so much in this tangled web that we're slowly waking up to. Elon Musk's AI photo tool is generating realistic fake images of Trump, Harris, and Biden. Yeah, people are using them all over the place. It's flooding. They're pretty funny pictures in a lot of cases, but they're going to start getting used. People are going to start having pictures made, doing things that didn't really happen. So it's just going to start to get out of hand. I think this is where things are going to really get interesting. I think a lot of people, it's like we're on the, the little spinny ride, right? And a lot of us are going to really start to get dizzy because this is where it's going to start to get a little crazy. And if you're not grounded, if you're not really kind of focused and centered in your heart, you're going to fall for a lot of crazy stuff because you want to believe something. And when you want to believe something, then anything you find that sort of works to like solidify that belief, you'll latch onto. It won't even necessarily have to be correct. It feeds the belief that you want to have, so therefore it confirms it, and therefore, right? And it just creates this difficult, wobbly, dizzy-like situation. If you just kind of go, I don't know exactly what's happening, but I'm taking it as it comes, you'll survive a lot better. You're a lot more agile, You're more like the bending willow tree versus, the breaking or whatever, however that old phrase goes. Kim.com is going to be extradited from New Zealand to U.S. He had a site, first off, it always tripped me out, first off, that Kim is a dude. I was like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have guessed that, but you never know. But he had a product called, or a website called Mega Upload. I think it was a file sharing kind of thing that they had back in the day, and people were using it to file share. He was in New Zealand. New Zealand had a law where basically you're not responsible for what other people do on your site if they're doing illegal stuff. So he just created a site that people could utilize to transfer files very easily. And because of that, United States didn't like that because he broke a lot of copyrights and stuff like that. So a lot of difficulty there. They basically worked out a deal. The FBI is going to have him flown to the United States, and he will, go to court or do his court hearing here. Probably be put in jail, and we'll see. Look, while everyone is exposing celebrities, I think it's time we have a conversation. So I don't know who this top one is. I apologize for that. But obviously Bill Cosby and Oprah Winfrey. We've got Harvey Weinstein and Oprah Winfrey. We've got P. Diddy and Oprah Winfrey. This guy who's probably obviously bad and Oprah Winfrey. But yes, she is majorly in the rabbit hole. She is majorly in the deep state. She's a big part of this whole thing. She is like the queen bee to a large extent. So that wouldn't even surprise me if this is like Michael Obama's mom or something like that. That'd be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? That'd be kind of wild. Almost looks like her a little bit. All said, who knows? We'll see. It'll be kind of wild. Anne Heck video. I'm going to play this going out. Yeah, it's kind of good. Because it's why they killed her. And she wasn't dead when the car crashed. When they had her in the stretcher, they show that scene. Like, she literally sat up. So you just got to remember that. Because they said she was dead when they were wheeling her to the ambulance. They said she was dead already. She wasn't. They killed her. She wasn't dead yet when they put her into the ambulance. No one ever saw her again after that. And what she was involved with is pretty mind-blowing. So we'll definitely get there in a second. 2 doctors and the ketamine queen have been charged in the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry. Apparently 5 individuals were arrested. 5 people, including 2 California doctors, a reputed drug dealer, this is the ketamine queen, and Matthew Perry's live-in personal assistant, have all been charged in connection with the actor's accidental overdose death. So that's basically what happened. Kind of funny. A lot of people would just died, and that would have been it. And they, this dude dies, and they friggin' dig into it. Arrested a bunch of people. Want to remind you guys, the Truth Threads. You got to check out the site, truththread.shop. Got, of course, all of our great merch on there. 5G Warfare. We've got, of course, the Great Awakening shirt. I know she's also going to make this available on T-shirts and on like hoodies and stuff like that, the long sleeve. So we're going to have a couple other options, not just the baseball shirt, though that's my uniform. I wear the baseball shirt every day, and that was why we were lucky enough to get that, because I needed to make sure I had my uniform. But again, great products, great quality too, for that matter. And we're actually printing them ourselves, so it's kind of cool. So we've got a young lady here. We're helping her family. They've got their own little kind of business going with this, and they're helping me out with my channel and making sure I can get my message out there. And again, got some great tumblers. So if you want to help the channel, if you want to help out a great family, and also try to make sure you spread the word with our Truther merchandise as well. We got the little OTF flag on the side of the sleeve there. But if you want to try to get the word out, the 5G Warfare, teach people basically where we are, what we're doing. You know, if you're going to go be standing in line someplace, it's a great shirt to wear. Check it out. Go to truththread.shop. That's truththread.shop. Truththread.shop. All right, there's good stuff. All right, guys, we are going to close out with this. I just want to remind you guys, I love you guys. We're going to keep pushing hard together. We're going to get there. We're going to continue to move forward. It is going to be an effort at times. I feel like today kind of was for me a little bit. Sometimes we just got to get through it, though, right? Take it a step at a time, folks. Step at a time. It's okay. Like I had a buddy used to say when they were trying to jog, or when they were jogging up hills, it's like just one light post at a time, right? Just one light post at a time. Just the next light post. Just make it to the next light post, and then just make it to the next light post. And you just keep going. Eventually, you get to that last light post, and you're ready, and you're there. Here's this crazy video with Anne Heck. This trips me out. And again, this is part of what the deep state's all about. And if you try to break them, if you try to break open the truth, if you try to get the truth out there, they attack you. It's what Trump is doing. It's what we're all doing. They do not want to lose. They have never lost. They don't know how to lose. They're probably not going to be good at it. But they're going to. Finally. After a lot of years. My best guess, it goes back to Atlantis. That was when they took over, destroyed the world once, and trying to do it a second time. We're not going to let them. This is a war between good versus evil. And you guys have been chosen to be a part of it. And thank you for fighting on the battlefield with me. I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.
Ann Heche has died. Her vehicle ran off the road at a high rate of speed and collided into a house in L.A. last Friday.
Want to start over?
Now her ex, Ellen DeGeneres, is calling it a sad day.
Why do you think she tried to put me in an institution, folks? Hi.
And Ellen's fine. She can sit on her pile of money.
I hope you like your money, because that's why I broke up with you. Do you like sitting on your piles of cash? Because guess what? It gets you exactly where you are. I asked her to come and meet me for lunch at the Four Seasons, and I was greeted by 5 suits. Ellen was sitting in a chair, and I said, as far as I remember, I didn't invite anybody else to lunch today. And they said, we know that you have you want to take Ellen to the premiere, and we're here to tell you that you will be fired from your $10 million picture deal if you do it. And then Ellen looked at me. I was sitting on the armchair because she lit a Four Seasons chair, and she said, do what they say. You don't know what you're up against. We've only known each other for a couple of days. And I said, I do know what I'm up against.
It's the first time that I have been able to show what I believe happens after you keep secrets and the freedom you feel once you tell them and the transformation that can happen.
Usually we do it for benefits, and Save the Children was one of the things that I would do.
Love is a powerful weapon in the hands of human traffickers.
In the United States, most sex trafficking victims were originally recruited by someone they loved or trusted.
By understanding how human trafficking really works, you can make a difference in the life of someone at risk. Listen, the reality is we have gotten to a place where we are not looking at the truth, and we are getting its consequences in our face. And what we're here to do is try to flip that on its head and say, let's look with grace at this opportunity to live this life. We've all come through a very difficult time. We've all been merged in the first time in our lives in an understanding that every single human being who has gone through it. And we are coming out the other side. We have an opportunity for freedom, or we have an opportunity to get back on the death wagon and start believing the lies that we've been crammed into each other's faces for years, ages, centuries, on eons. It's time to flip it and start having some fun. Don't you agree?
I am sorry to disappoint you. I am not part of the deep state.
This is what I say. Goodbye. Watch out. You're fucked.
Have you spoken to Ann Heche at all since her accident?
If not.
Yeah, it's quite a dangerous accident that happened, wasn't it?
Sure was.